miracle of Pobyman didn't happen.
It didn't. And for me, it was not so much of about the game. I mean, they want to go to the goal scored by Real Bamako, but it's the issues that have popped up after the game. We are told
Continental Club Masters.
Yeah.
And they failed to mastermind the comeback. But
I think the House of Folk fans, that name, honestly, they shouldn't, because let's respect that team, the 64 Battalion, that team that...
But it's the same House of Folk.
No, that team that carried that name, the Continental Club Masters. Come on, I'm here to see any House of Folk team that can be compared to that team that literally tore Africa into shreds with their performance and everything. So please, they are not the Continental Club Masters anymore, because they cease being that. For me, like I was saying, it's not so much about the game. It's the events that have happened. I'm reading that fans have deflated the tire of Alhaji Akambi and Vincent Odete. These men.
Even before you go there, let's start with what I feel was mismanagement. Has to be Samuel Boadu. He comes into the stadium as a fan, walks up to the seating area where the fans are. Then Boadu is allowed to descend from the fans, get down to the inner perimeter, get down to the dressing room and have a pre-match meeting with the players. Whilst the substantive head coach.
It's funny. It speaks to how poor the club is run. The club has no structures. There's nothing professional about Heart of Folk, to be honest.
Disrespect to David
Okun. And that's unprofessional. I am yet to ever, maybe it's happened that I do not know of, I'm yet to ever hear of any professional club that we talk about in Europe, City, Madrid, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, a manager is sacked. Few weeks after, the club has a game, the manager comes, walks into the dressing room and interacts with the boys. Whatever he said, nobody knows. Maybe he went there to ginger them up, but it's so unprofessional. Leave that job to the manager you have entrusted the team into his hands to do that job. I feel that for whatever is happening at Accra, Towe cannot ask for his money back because nobody can pay him. But for me, he's wasted his money. He's spending so much, and those that are expected to let the club run professionally on the pitch are failing to do so in Alhaji Akambi, Vincent. They are failing the supporters.
And it's right. The supporters were venting their anger.
They should.
Some even actually said the next game House of Folk will play when the Premier League resumes.
I'm not condoning violence, but
Alhaji Akambi and Odoto should be given jerseys. But I think you look at all of this dynamics around Samuel Boadu, it only begs one question. Are they beginning to regret that they sacked Boadu?
For me, I still hold my ground. Samuel Boadu should be sacked, or the sacking of Samuel Boadu for me was right, because when you see the direction of a club post his appointment, he's handled the club for a while now. I'm yet to see the trajectory of Accra to Folk under his reign. That's why I feel that it was right letting him go, because at some point I felt that the club was a bit still. It wasn't progressing and all of that. But you see, in making that decision, you should have a plan. Okay, what plan do we have going forward? When Chelsea let go of Tuchel, quickly, they knew that these are the money. They spoke to some few managers. This is the manager we've decided to settle on because this is the direction we want to go. And maybe early season or early days blues and all of that, but the team is performing. I feel that they just sacked the man without any plan B, plan C, plan D, plan Z, whatever. They're just throwing the man's money away. And for me, we've spoken extensively about how administratively most of the clubs in Ghana are run poorly. But for big clubs like Accra, Tifo, Kumasi, Asante Kotoko, I do not expect them to make these mistakes, because Dave, you and I know across the world and across Europe, the big clubs are the ones that set the pace for the smaller clubs to follow. You know, the likes of Real Madrid, the likes of Barcelona, the likes of Bayern Munich, they set the template for how clubs should be managed. You know, when things are not going well, they ensure that they clean house, put in the right structures, and you know, things run smoothly. But Accra has to focus consistently. And you see, the Hearts fans have every reason to want to, you know,
deflate the ties,
vent out their anger on whoever they want to vent out their anger onto. But for me, whatever happened today at the Accra Sports Stadium was uncalled for. It was unprofessional. There's no word for it.
Speaking of cleaning house, that's a Kambi go. That's what
they should all leave. I mean, it's high time. They've kept too long. These guys should have left last year when they messed up in Africa. They went sleeping at. They should have sacked them. I do not know why Toby insists on putting in money, and yet he's not, because his numerous businesses and entities he runs, I'm sure he ensures that I put in the right structures to protect my investment. Yet I feel that he's not really protecting. Look at the beautiful edifice he's putting up at the Poblima. It's almost done. He wants to put the club in a very professional light, but those that are expected to ensure that happens are failing him. And you know, the bigger discussion should be, and you know, like we're saying, Hearts failed in Africa. They've been knocked out by Real Bamako, Kotokowe, Kadiogod, in the words of, you know, our very own honorable Sam George. Kotokowe, Kadiogod. These are two of the biggest clubs that amass some of the biggest following in Africa, not just in Ghana, in Africa. Yet, for the past, God knows when, I don't recall the last time any of our clubs, any of our clubs, no, not just playing, or performing. Well, any of our clubs perform to the highest level in Africa. Why do we keep failing?
Well, it's got to do more with, one, quality, and two, resources. Quality in terms of players, resources in terms of cash flow. Our game undoubtedly has fallen behind when you look at the prima donnas in Africa currently: Sundowns, Al Ahly, Zamalek, Raja Casablanca, Simba, and those guys. We can't compete with them in terms of resources. You can't compete with them in terms of quality of players that they have. So when it happens that way, you don't expect our clubs to go out there and get
maybe
results.
We'll stretch the discussion another time when we're probably looking at, you know, the local league, you know, in a bigger light. But guys, Hearts of Oak failed the Heart fraternity again, and there are a lot of issues that are coming up. We don't know what you think. Do you think that Samuel Boadu, you know, going to the dressing room to talk to the players? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Let us know from the comment section, and more importantly, you should subscribe to Sport 101, like our videos, comment, and we're doing this with you.